This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I'm Dar. Hey, what's going on?
Well, there's geese overhead, and they're like they're making lots of noises like on the roof. Yeah, I'm like, what is that? And you say, I don't hear anything. And it's like, well, you're downstairs, I'm upstairs, and there you have it. Yeah,
they're doing a see. Maybe they wanted to dance to the intro.
They wanted to get in on the act. But
that's it. Ooh,
everybody's getting in on the act. That's a deep cut, Jimmy Durante.
Good to see that you're awake today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, I've got a question for you. We were looking at my hair, and I want to know who wore it better. Hold on 1 minute.
Oh my God, it's kind of scary, Jim.
Is it
that
me?
That is truly scary.
Or Bob J.R. Dobbs, the world's greatest salesperson?
Oh, no. I want to know how they got his pipe so thin that he was able to close his teeth completely.
I don't know.
There you go. I think it's a tough call. I think he wears it better. Let's face it. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you.
I say Bob Dobbs.
You are my husband. So.
What is it? The Church of Subgenius? I can't remember. It was a thing in the 80s. Man, it was big. It was big. And used to see these posters of him.
I don't remember this.
We didn't have the internet to look up, but I did somehow find out who he was, Bob.
When? In the 80s you found out who he was, or now?
Yeah, in the 80s I found out who he was. I don't know how I found out because we had no internet. We had no resources. You know, the World Book Encyclopedia.
Went to the library. That's right.
The World Book Encyclopedia was our internet, and Bob Dobbs wasn't in it, but somehow I found out. We found out things back then. It was just kind of obscure.
Had no idea. I was rocking to Bon Jovi. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, before we get to the stories, one thing that we got to mention, we had that spooky studio net, was it last week for our Plus Club members? It was fantastic.
Awesome. It was so awesome.
And a lot more people came than I thought.
Yes.
It was fun. And it's basically like, I don't know how to describe it. It's an informal check-in where, it's through Zoom, and you just come on, you say where you're at, what the weather's like, what you're doing. It's like a 2 or 3 minute exchange. And we just get to say hi to everybody all over the country, all over the world. And we had, 25 check-ins or something last time?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
Well, which was... the thing that I liked about it was just everybody just kind of talking what's going on in your life. You could relate to, the trials and tribulations. You could relate to the weather. You could be like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, it was community. It just felt nice. I liked that.
And we had a question of the day, and we might do trivia, but it's not really super paranormal based. It's more like, hey, let's just be a community and check in with each other, see how we're doing, what's going on, those kind of things. So we're going to have Spooky Studio Net PM because we did that in the AM last week, and we want to give people from different time zones a chance. So this will be May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It will be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and for Plus members exclusively. So if you are a Plus member, you're more than welcome to attend. We'd love for you to attend. And there will be a special page at the jimharold.com website where you can access it. Now, we are not going to say here what that special URL is because this is open to everybody and we love our whole audience, but we want to provide this just for our Plus members. So, Plus members, listen to this week's Behind the Scenes, listen to this week's Campfire Remastered, and we will have on those shows at the head end the super secret URL. And if you're not a Plus member, this is yet another reason to join at jimharold.com/plus. What would you like to add, Dar?
Just it's Cinco de Mayo, so maybe I'll make us a couple margaritas.
Hey, that'll get me more in the mood.
There you go.
So, and that night I'm actually doing some campfire taping too. So if you want to tell your campfire story, we are taking submissions. jimharold.com/campfire, jimharold.com/campfire. So there you go.
Absolutely. There we go. And what's going on in the news this week, Jim?
Well,
because holy cow.
Yeah, a lot. And unfortunately, we have to lead the show with an unfortunate piece of news. Many of you who have listened to the shows over the years have been familiar with Gaia, the streaming TV company. For many years, they were a sponsor of the show. And also, we've had many of their hosts as guests over the years, including the late David Wilcock. And apparently he committed suicide at the age of 53 in the last week. And it's very, very sad. This story from People says he was a major figure in the disclosure movement, a social movement, and they go on to say what that means, the disclosure movement. Apparently, police responded to a call outside of Nederland, Colorado, and made contact with David before he took his life. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office said in a statement, Wilcock was a major figure in the disclosure movement. As I said, a social movement that believes the U.S. government holds secret info about UFOs and life beyond Earth. Yeah, very, very sad. They responded to a 911 call at 10:44 a.m. outside Nederland, Colorado, and made contact with David. Within minutes of deputies' arrival, he died by suicide. No other individuals were located inside the residence or on the surrounding property. So that is very, very sad news. He also appeared on Ancient Aliens regularly. And yeah, very sad news. And I will say this. We always mention this when these things come up. 988 Lifeline. If you are in distress, if you need help, somebody you know needs help, please reach out to the 988 Lifeline. They're located at 988lifeline.org. You can also dial them by dialing 988. Their service is free, and when you call, text, or chat the 988 Lifeline, your conversation is confidential. The 988 Lifeline provides you judgment-free care. Talking with someone can help save your life. And again, they have calling, texting, chatting, and also for those who have hearing impairments. So they have a wide range of services. Also, David's family made a comment. I'm going to pull it up here. It kind of disappeared on me. They said, in remembering David, it is important to hold more than, well, this is what the Boulder County Sheriff said, I'm sorry. It is important to hold more than one truth at once, that some of his work raised concerns about misinformation. I don't know why that was necessary for them to say that. And that he was also a person who was on an eternal quest for clarity. But this is very confusing. That was from his family. I apologize. The way this paragraph was constructed, it was not clear. That was a statement from his family. So maybe they weren't big fans of his work. I don't know. But either way, our hearts go out to them. And, I wouldn't say that I necessarily agreed with all of David's theories, but, he was a big contributor to this area. And I got to interview him, and he was a perfect gentleman with me. And we're very sorry to hear of this loss. And apparently he had a lot of distress going from things that I've read, and just a very sad writing or situation. He wrote on April 18th on X, he said, always remember that the Creator is within, and we live in a loving universe. I'm very grateful to you all for all of your love, care, and support. So unfortunately, he, he maybe lost sight of that when all this happened, but rest in peace, and our sympathies go out to his family. I know there's people who are like, this is part of the whole scientist thing and things. And sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. You had a person in distress. They decided to take their own life. Very sad situation. I really don't want to get into a lot of speculation on it being a conspiracy, because I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's just a very sad situation. Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, it's very sad. We all get into, come on, let's be honest. We're all human. We all get into those moods. Like when you are just like, I can't take this anymore. Everything is horrible. Come on, let's be honest. Everyone does that. I'm almost positive. Maybe you don't get to the level that you consider taking your life, but we're all human. We all have, like I said earlier, trials and tribulations. We all go through things. Everybody is going through something. I always say, life is like a roller coaster. You know what? So you get up and you get to the high and it's, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And then you get down into the valley and it kind of blows and it's boring and it's, whatever. Wait, you'll get back up. You know what I'm saying? Life is dynamic. It is not static. So please don't consider ending your life if you're doing that. Like Jim said, please contact 988. and just realize there are so many of us out there that do care about you. And maybe we don't all say it often enough. So that's a good lesson for everybody. But let everybody know you care for them. It's okay. You're going through something rough. It will get better. It's going to change. It'll change. Doesn't look like it'll change for the good. It will. You will have good. You're going to have good. You're going to have bad. It's life. And it's just, this is very sad that he felt so distressed that he had to do this. So, yeah. I mean, and he made great contributions. Like you said, whether you agreed or didn't agree with everything, that doesn't matter. If he could have only realized what he was doing was important and people did care, and we do care, So I don't know, get off my soapbox, but just please reconsider if you're that low, get some help, please. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this next thing, we're right back to it. These scientists, it keeps getting curiouser and curiouser, and we have a whole series of stories about all this. And you're up first.
We do. So New York Post has an article that there's a documentary that's coming out in May 17th, I believe. And it's going to show a trove, this is their words, trove of leaked documents proving U.S. lab where the missing scientist's work was studying UFOs. So the son of the now dead cybersecurity chief of Los Alamos National Laboratory, they have documents. So Jeremy Corbell, the reporter, received these documents from the son of one of the deceased chief at that very secretive New Mexico lab. And, the kid was going through all these papers and quote, he said, "Oh, this is some heavy stuff." So he gave it to Corbell, and all this information is going to be in this documentary. I think it's called, what's that called? Sleeping Dogs? Wait a minute. Sleeping Dog. So that's the name of the flick that's coming on May 17th. And it's going to release a lot of this internal memos, drawings, Polaroids. And Corbell said, quote, "These documents provide absolute confirmation that the U.S. government has maintained a secret, decades-long program to uncover the intent and origins of those piloting UFOs." There's one document that is the agenda of a very high-level all-day meeting that happened in 1991 at Los Alamos, where the CIA, NSA, and Navy and Army were all there. And they were discussing atmospheric anomalies. And he actually has a picture in this article. I'll have the link. He has a picture of the agenda and who was there. They had other things they were talking about too, like Soviet offerings, the development of sensors, and how to interface with the civilian sector, i.e. universities such as MIT and Stanford.
Interesting. Very interesting.
The two people, it was Anthony Chavez. He disappeared while going for a walk. And then Melissa Cassius, she was an administrative assistant there at the lab. She dropped lunch off for her daughter at school and then disappeared. Yeah.
Curiouser and curiouser. It just gets curiouser and curiouser.
Yes. So, I have a lot to say because there are also a couple articles that have come out pretty much saying that, if you believe it's a conspiracy, you're stupid. Yeah. And in fact, one of them is called this. No joke. The title of this article from The Atlantic is "The Missing Scientist Story is Unbelievably Dumb."
Yeah.
And what I took from that, we're not going to get into the whole article, but disgusting. He was accusing one of the people that killed themselves of being on drugs. They died. Their families have lost somebody. Can you show some kind of sympathy and remorse of how you're reporting? It's disgusting. I don't care if it's an opinion piece or what.
Right.
Come on, grow up.
Yeah.
How can you accuse her of being, it was Amy Eskridge, and he's accusing her of being on drugs. And because some of her tweets or whatever, some of her texts, how do you know what was going on in her life? Don't you dare throw that out there. And that's what's bothering me. There's an article, that one, and there's another article from Newsweek of an ex-FBI agent saying, retired, is it FBI? Yeah. She breaks down all the conspiracy claims. You know why they're doing this? Because they don't want the truth to get out. This is their smear campaign to tell everybody, nothing to see here. There's no conspiracies. Go away. Go away.
Well, my point is that maybe they are not connected. I mean, I hold out the possibility. But what's wrong with saying, hey, this seems a little weird. Why don't we look into this?
No, now, because she says this. I'm sorry to cut you off. This FBI agent says they're not connected. They happen. This was her excuse. They happen miles apart in different days and different years. And so what? There can't be a pattern. Why all of these people were working on the
serial killers, victims of serial killers happen at different times, at different locations. Israel Keys, one of the worst serial killers, would literally bury murder kits around the country. And that was why it was so difficult to catch, because he would just go out and murder people for the fun of it, the quote, fun of it. I mean, I don't know that he said that, but essentially that's what he's doing, because he got his kicks off of it. So the point is that, look, there may be an innocent explanation. And someone said this, I don't know if it was a virtual campfire, maybe it was on our Spooky Studio Net. Maybe some of them are connected and maybe some of them are not.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be one or the other.
It's always all or nothing, Jim. That's what it is in our society. We can't have gray. It's everything. They're all connected. They're all not connected.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
So,
like she said, well, plenty of medical personnel commit suicide every year. Tons. We don't know about them. Tons. Well, by that effect, there's tons of people that commit suicide every year. Call 988. But I'm saying, hello, what? That's your reasoning? I don't know. It's kind of faulty in my opinion. And you know what? What if, like I said last week, what if we dig back further? Maybe there's even more people that might be connected to this that aren't, it's not as evident. We don't know. Anyway.
Well, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there's another article from the Daily Mail, Tim Burchett again. And I think you have something following this.
Yes.
He said the deadline for the missing scientist probe's getting closer now. And he said if it's a conspiracy against the U.S. scientific community, he was concerned that the source may actually originate on U.S. soil and not a foreign country. And he feels that it's a plot similar to the actions of the infamous Cold War era CIA program MK Ultra, where allegedly kidnapped and drugged scientists may be taking place in present day America.
Wow.
He feels like he's comparing that.
Wow, that's quite an allegation. I mean, because
isn't it?
You would think, I mean, again, people getting killed is a bad thing, but if this is some kind of murder or abduction plot, it would be, I guess, in some weird way more comforting if it came from a foreign power as opposed to internally. I mean, the people end up just as dead. But it would really be even more disturbing, I think, if it came from within, something to cover something up. This next story coming up is really interesting because this is just not an American phenomena. It is appearing to happen internationally. And there have been a lot of scientists in China, who have passed away and under mysterious circumstances. For example, Feng Yang died July 1st, 2023, supposedly in a car accident. And he was working on kind of wargaming Taiwan because, mainland China, there's a lot of thought that they're going to try to absorb Taiwan because they have that one China idea that Taiwan is truly a part of mainland China, and they want to, quote, reunite them and, obviously put the Taiwanese people under communist rule. Well, apparently this scientist, and he's not the only one, he had won national competitions with his pioneering War Skull platform. This article is from Newsweek. But then in the articles that talked about him passing away, they talked about him being sacrificed. And they buried him in this very exclusive cemetery for Communist Party heroes, like people who would have died in a war or something. Now, it's interesting because, again, he was a mastermind behind AI simulations of a potential Taiwan scenario, and it's very odd that the accident happened in the middle of the night, said an experienced researcher of the Chinese military who works at a Western think tank and who's been monitoring the situation. Interestingly enough, they don't mention who this person is. He said, I don't think it's good for your health. Yeah, I don't think it's good for your health to be associated with this kind of thing, the researcher told Newsweek. He was Newsweek. That'd be a good title.
Parody
Newsweek
magazine.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a good parody
Newsweek. That's excellent.
Newsweek.
I'm sure that Mad Magazine had to use that
at
one time or another back in the day. They said that these deaths among these Chinese scientists are occurring in hypersonics, in military AI, including swarming technology simulations, stuff that could really make a difference. These types of tech seem to be overrepresented in the clusters of the deaths, I guess. It could be an adversary. Wonder who that could be. Could be trying to slow China down. It's starting to look more and more unusual. And here's some of the folks who died in an untimely manner. Another car accident. Zhang Jiaxin, 62, in December 2024, a space expert at the National Satellite Meteorological Center who specialized in weather monitoring and early warning systems, according to the South China Morning Post. He won a top award by the Chinese military, by the way. And again, I'll probably get half these names wrong. I apologize. 2018, Chen Shuming, 57, Chinese military scientist and microelectronics expert, a leader of China's high-end weapon chip research and development team. A chemist, Zhao Ganghuan, died 51 in December 23 with no cause of death given. And he was a member of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a researcher at the Dalian Institute of Chemical Physics who worked with organizations and practical applications for his research. No cause of death. Hypersonic expert Fang Dining, 68, apparently after an unexpected medical episode in South Africa this February. Another hypersonic researcher, Yan Hong, 56, who worked at Wright State University in Ohio before returning to China to join the U.S.-sanctioned Northwestern Polytechnical University, died in March, reportedly after an illness. Another one, Zhang Daibing, 47, one of China's top drone experts and the former deputy director of the National University of Defense Technology Unmanned Systems Research Institute. Lu Donghao, 51, a prominent data scientist, died in 2024 after an unspecified accident. He was a pioneer in the field of China's data security management systems. And then the last one they mentioned here is Li Minyong, 49, an international renowned biomedical chemist who is a Ministry of Education, quote, talent plan awardee and a member of the non-communist Zhaigong Party that is part of the CCP's United Front. Yeah. So, I mean, again, it could just be, a bunch of scientists dying. But you notice the ages on those people, most of them were not particularly elderly. They were pretty much middle-aged, in their 30s to their 60s. So it is enough to make you think. And News Nation also had an article on it as well.
Who's doing this, right? Like, are there people like murdering our scientists and we're murdering theirs, or is it not terrestrial at all? Is it like?
Yeah. Well, they make the point, I think, in the article, I think it's in there, that basically there have been a lot of Iranian nuclear scientists who have suddenly turned up dead over the last couple of years, and I think we can only guess who might be responsible for that. Seeing the efforts of the U.S. and others to stop the Iranian nuclear program, which is a good thing, obviously. I think from most people's perspective.
To stop the program, not to
stop
kill
the program.
People.
Yeah, to stop the program.
But obviously that's not stopping the program.
Well, I don't think the Iranians are going to give that up very easily, but that's another story for another time. But the point is, it's just very odd. You seem to have a rash of these things. And another thing, we had that horrible incident on Saturday night at the Correspondents' Dinner in Washington And I believe the shooter has been charged with attempted assassination of the president. And I don't care what your political belief is. That is just a horrible, horrible thing. It should not be joked about. It should not be made light of. And I think that people who do make light of these things, regardless, whether you think the president is an awful president or whatever, I think it's awful. And I believe political violence of any type should be discouraged, whether it comes from right, left, or center. But I was going to say gentleman, but I won't use that word. But the shooter, apparently, there were articles out there that he worked as an intern at the Jet Propulsion Lab for NASA for a short time, relatively recently. Again, could just be a coincidence, but it just makes you think. Right? Yeah, it is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. There's an article. I'll put the link to that article about the connection. We're not going to get totally into it. Not just political violence, Jim. Violence, period. You hate somebody. You hate whatever they stand for. Hate's such a big word. You know what? Can you just grow up and learn to manage your emotions and be like a normal human being? Why do you have to fly off the handle and think, I don't like them, I'm going to kill them? What is wrong with you? Something is seriously wrong that you don't know how to, you have no self-regulation skills. It's disgusting.
If you don't like the way the politics is going, exercise your right to protest. Exercise your right to campaign against the ideas you're against. Exercise the right to your vote. Good? Right. But my point is there are ways to, quote, fight the power without doing things like this. And that, again, I would say the same thing regardless of who the president was. I got to say, and I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to mention it. I saw a clip this morning of Johnny Carson. After the attempted assassination of President Reagan in 1981. And if anybody knows, Carson on air played it very down the middle. But he was very much on the Democratic side in his personal beliefs and what somebody would call a progressive these days. But yet he had the class and the decorum to wish the president the best. He talked about how they had postponed the Oscars one evening because they wanted to see what happened with the developments because apparently, President Reagan was pretty close to death. And that was underreported at the time. But looking back, it's true. He was very close to death. So the point being that was a person on one end of the particular political spectrum who's willing to say, hey, we wish the president well. And I would like to think if you would have a Republican and it were a Democrat who would be a potential victim of something like this, that the Republican would show class. I think when these kind of things happen, we should show respect to human life. And even if we are 180% diametrically opposed to somebody's ideas, that we should say political violence is a bad thing. And if that's me getting political, I'm getting political. I don't believe if there's a Democrat in office, I don't believe in political violence. If there's a Republican in office, I don't believe in political violence. I just don't believe in political violence. So that's enough of that.
I don't believe in any violence. We're all human, and that's what we are first. You can have your beliefs. I can have my beliefs. We can be same. We could be different. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because we are all human beings. So please, let's encourage people to have some self-regulation skills. Let's teach these young kids when you get upset about something, hitting at a little age or whatever, that's not the answer because that grows into I'm going to get a gun and kill somebody when they get older.
Sure.
So let's work on that. Sure. Also, I just want to say, you say go protest, whatever. I say skip the protest, go do something good for humanity. You see homeless people, go see how you can help them. Whatever it is that you're upset about, that's a social or political issue, get involved in some way to change that, but not by killing somebody.
Was it? I don't know who said. Was it President Obama said, "Be the change you want to see in the world"? So there you go.
Well, thank you. Yes, come on.
So next,
we're going to switch gears. We're switching gears, guys. Here we go. Here's some paranormal stuff. Jim, do you think you had some ghost sightings? You think maybe you might have heard a ghost? You'd be wrong. It's just vibration in your pipes.
Oh, my. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're all wrong. There are no ghosts. It's just vibrations. Daily Mail says there is a new study out that paranormal activity can be explained by infrasonic vibrations in aging pipes. So my question is, what if you're out in the woods and you have that? So are there pipes in the woods too? Anyway, while humans can't typically hear, even a brief exposure may shift mood and raise cortisol levels, according to researchers from MacEwan University in Edmonton, Alberta. Professor Rodney Schmaltz, senior author of the study, I know, don't be nice. Consider visiting a supposedly haunted building. Your mood shifts. You feel agitated, but you can't see or hear anything unusual. In an old building, there's a good chance that infrasound is present, particularly in basements where aging pipes and ventilation systems produce low-frequency vibrations. If you were told the building was haunted, you might attribute that agitation to something supernatural. In reality, you may simply have been exposed to infrasound. So there you go. So they are saying they did a study. I don't know. They got 36 participants who provided saliva samples before being invited to sit alone in a room while listening to either calming or unsettling music. I don't know how this proves anything. Okay, I'll keep going. For half the participants, hidden subwoofers played infrasound at 18 hertz. After listening to the music, the participants were asked to report their feelings. Okay, there's bias right there. You just entered bias into your whole stupid study. Why do researchers not know how to conduct studies? Anyway, the emotional rating of the music and whether they thought the infrasound was playing. So they already knew that infrasound was going to be introduced. You just introduced bias. That's it. Anyway, the results revealed that the participants' salivary cortisol levels were higher if they listened to the infrasound, and they reported feeling more irritable and less interested, thinking the music was sadder. Well, I don't know how you can correlate any of this. I don't get it.
You know what I have to say about that? I'm going to tell you what I have to say about that.
Oh, no. Oh my God. There you go.
Seriously. I have heard that infrasound can have strange mental effects, and I don't doubt that may be possible. However, this is the same thing they do with the UFO phenomena.
They do it with everything.
Perfect example. They'll say, okay, well, look, during the development of the U-2 spy plane in the late 50s or whatever, that there was a huge spike in UFO sightings. Yes, I don't doubt it. But that doesn't mean that accounts for all UFOs. And that's what the debunkers do. They take a kernel of truth and maybe something that does possibly explain part of the situation, and they try to generalize it and say, aha, we've got it all covered. It's a very funny trick that they do.
That's the same in this article, okay? I am not saying that there's no such thing as infrasonic vibrations in pipes. By God, there probably is. How can you then make the jump from people listening to music in a room and not hearing infrasonic sound? How do you make that jump that the infrasonic sound is really the ghost? Like I said, if you're not in a room and you're not in a haunted building and you're outside and you see something and you hear something, where's the pipes? Where's the infrasonic sound there? I don't know. You just can't. Correlation does not mean
causality.
Causation, whatever.
Correlation does not mean causality.
Thank you, honey. Sorry. You can't. I just don't see this leap. I just really don't. See, so they end the story. So the next time something feels inexplicably off in a basement or old building, consider the cause might be vibrating pipes rather than restless spirits. How about both? Couldn't it be anything? I mean, basements are spooky anyway. Yeah, bugs and spider webs and what? I mean, I don't know. I just don't like stuff like this. I'm sorry. Yeah, it just doesn't really. I mean, if they could really design a study to prove that it's a ghost, a spirit, rather than just infrasonic sounds, I don't know. You can't say it's ghost sightings. You could just say there are infrasonic sounds in pipes. Okay, you and that pipe.
I just want to be able to do that.
Stick it where the sun does not shine.
I just want to be able to comment. Yeah, exactly. I can talk,
okay, honey.
All right. Dadgummit.
Wait, I need your pipe for this one. No.
The pipes, yeah, see? The pipes are calling. All right. So dadgummit, Tim Burchett.
Here we go
He's
again.
back. Here we go again. Another week, another Tim Burchett interview. He says in a recent interview with Elizabeth Vargas on Elizabeth Vargas Reports, News Nation, I've seen pictures and videos of things that defy any reason that we have. And everybody says, well, it's our stuff. It's the Russians. It's the Chinese. He said, if it's Chinese, ma'am, they would own us. If it was Russians, they wouldn't be bogged down in Ukraine. If it was ours, we would never risk our military fighting men and women in a $500 million aircraft out with these things that they're spotting. These things can hover for hours on end. Then they can just shoot straight up, and they can do angles. Now this paragraph was very confusing because it sounded like he was talking about transmedium craft, but I'll just read it the way it's written. The Tennessee Republican then recalled a discussion he had with an admiral who told him about an aircraft they saw on sonar that was almost as big as a football field and traveling over 200 miles an hour underwater. So I guess that's transmedium because I know I've heard him talk about the 200 miles an hour underwater. So, again, Burchett said, as he said many times, just put it out there and let people decide. I have my own theories about what it is, but I would hope that America could handle it. I think they can handle it. I just don't think that our government and their arrogance is its power. It's about control and arrogance. It's everything that runs Washington, D.C., ma'am. I think he's pretty accurate. I mean, think what you want about his politics one way or the other. He's been him and Luna have been the most outspoken people. And I find it very curious. I haven't seen any of those videos that Representative Luna called for. Where are they? That you talked about deadlines earlier. Deadlines come and go. Yeah, they're working on it. They're going, it takes some time.
You'll get them.
Like Hegseth, we've got to look into this. It's going to take a little time to see what we. And he didn't say this, but probably a little time to see how much we're going to redact. And, they give you a full page and it's all like black lines in like one sentence.
Or they'll just conveniently lose
They're
that
not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us anything.
No, nothing.
All right. Next.
Great story about dreams. This is from the debrief.org. And they've done some research saying that dreams may shape how you feel the next day more than you actually realize, right? So a lot of people are just dismissive about bad dreams. They kind of shake them off the next morning. But the content of your dreams, like even those unsettling ones that are really scary, can definitely influence your emotional well-being more than they used to understand about this. So it's a study from the University of Kansas, published in the Journal of Sleep. The fear that people experience in your dreams acts like exposure therapy. So this was their theory that it helps people process and manage difficult emotions in waking life. But they feel their findings from the study said it's even way more complex than they thought. And they did get a nice sample size, 536 people, covered more than 4,700 days. And they used a custom language model to measure emotions in each dream, focusing on fear and joy. And they just wanted new methods, bigger data, bigger samples so they can get really good statistics. So thank you for doing that. So on a daily basis, the exposure therapy hypothesis did not fully hold. Frightening dreams were associated with a worse mood the following morning rather than an improved one. However, the results differed when the researchers examined patterns over longer periods. So they felt so those that were better at managing those difficult emotions were also more likely to experience frightening dreams. So in the short term, the more fear in dreams is associated with a worse mood. But at the individual level, people who are better at handling their emotions tend to have more fear in their dreams. Which is kind of interesting. And one of the study's more novel findings said that dreams contain both fear and joy simultaneously because they're very complex. And the high levels of both joy and fear were associated with a 20% higher likelihood of waking up without a negative mood the next morning. So the study can't, as usual, it can't tell like what emotional processing is taking place. You know, when we're dreaming, that's kind of, but they're showing that like not all distressing dreams are the same. They're saying chronic nightmares, which are severe enough to wake the sleeper, are often linked to mental and physical health problems that require clinical attention. But the average bad dream may represent something else. It might be like a sign of the brain's resilience, like to be able to keep going. And
that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah,
but I do think
it's very weird.
I feel that dreams are like it's kind of like those Swiss Army knives, right? It's like a mental Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Like I think it does many different things. I think it organizes. I think it consolidates. I think it throws junk away. But I also think there's another side to it. And I talk about this on the campfire all the time. I do think that dreams can bring us closer to the veil, as they say. And maybe it puts us in like different mental states where we can communicate with people from the other side. Maybe where we can have premonitions. So I think that dreams just aren't one thing. I think they're many things. It's just my personal theory, which may be all wet.
I had a weird one this morning. You and I went, we were summoned to go to Australia, where I was to help this old man who was on high blood pressure medicine to sort all of his medicines out. And I know it was so weird. He had a caregiver there, so I was kind of like,
some expensive pill sorting. Yeah, that's like $1,000 a pill.
But in his like little apartment, there were kids and all kinds of family members, and it was just this huge thing. But they were so happy that I was there helping them with their medicine. It was so bizarre.
I actually had a dream.
I said, thanks so much for letting us get to come to Australia because I've always wanted to come here. I said that, and then you're like, yes, we have. That's what you said. That was about it.
Yes, we have. Glad to sort your pills. My dream was related to this show. I didn't even tell you this.
Oh,
that I had a dream that the aliens, the truth came out about the aliens, and we found out that we were basically like, I don't know, we're like a simulation, or we're just like a plaything for them, and they could just, we were like,
I don't like that dream.
And they could throw us out at any time. We're like, a big grand game of The Sims. I think that
I don't like your dream. That's a nightmare in my world.
That's they talk about it. And Nick Pope, the late Nick Pope, used to R.I.P. Used to talk about the idea that it's a truth too terrible to tell. Like people couldn't handle it. Something that would really call into question everything we believe. And then the other thing I've heard people say, I don't know if it was him or somebody else, imagine it as something that we couldn't do anything about. It was just like, and it would just put people in despair. So I don't know.
That's depressing.
I'll
just go la 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 la.
That's
la,
right.
La,
that's
la.
right.
Oh, brother.
All right.
That's supposed to cheer me up.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. I'm going to have nightmares tonight about you and this stupid pipe and your hair.
You're the one that said I look like Bob Dobbs. That's how I got the idea.
That hair, I don't know what your lady did with your hair. It's not, I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with that. All right. Well, this is weird, and this seems extremely sinister to me. And
I don't like this either.
It isn't paranormal, but it almost seems like a way that maybe a foreign adversary could kind of poison our plants and our crops and so forth.
Ourselves.
Or who knows? Well, apparently, remember a couple of years ago when people were getting these mysterious seed packets in the mail they had not ordered? Well, it's happening again in Delaware. Delawareans, I learned something new today. I didn't know that's what they were called.
I didn't know that's what. Oh, that's cool.
Being asked to keep an eye out for mysterious packages containing seeds delivered to their mailboxes. The Delaware Department of Agriculture is warning, this is from CBS, is warning residents about the unexpected deliveries of seeds that they did not order. And they're basically giving them the address of the department's headquarters in Dover to say, Send them to us. Do not open them. Do not put them in the ground. Do not plant them. They said, we know it might be tempting to plant them, but we're asking for your help to keep our state's farms, gardens, and green spaces safe. Unsolicited seeds can pose a risk to our local agriculture and environment. And if you get them, just put them in a sealed zip-top bag and send them in. And they even have a website, de.gov/seed intake. You can fill that form out before you mail or bring the seeds in. But I don't know, that seems very sketch to me. It seems like to me that's somebody who wants to harm the ecosystem here in the United States. I mean, I know that's very conspiratorial, but I also see like some of these.
Of you, dear.
Think about, we see some of these weird bugs and stuff that are over here now that were never here before. And I wonder how much of that has been. I mean, a lot of the packages come from different parts of the world and things. And I think some of them are hitchhiking in those. But I wonder if any of those have been planted intentionally, because there's some that are pretty nasty. And it's just, my mind goes there.
Yeah, well, it does. I mean, do you remember stink bugs when you were a kid?
Nope.
Wow, now we're seeing those things. I mean, and they're not dangerous as far as I know, but they just smell when you kill them. But why are they all over the place now?
Yeah,
at least up here.
I don't think I saw one until about probably 15 years ago. Never saw one in my life.
We're like, what are these ugly butt? I remember. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, now we just kind of accept it, but.
And isn't there like this weird, I forgot what it was called.
We were in the yard the other day.
Texas.
We were in the yard the other day.
Yes.
And we had somebody doing some work for it. And there was like this weird, we thought it was a bee at first. And I was like, whoa, what is that? And I still don't know what it was. It was very weird looking. Very weird. It was
not a wasp and it wasn't a bee. It was like this weird, it had weird colors.
Yeah.
But it had some stripes, right? But it was... Did it have purple? I thought I remember seeing like white and some purple.
Yeah, it was just.
And even the guy who was here, he had said he'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and he's like an outdoorsy kind of guy.
He's very outdoorsy,
He was kind of getting away from it. But, well, it's enough to make you feel like garbage. But there might be other explanations.
I think is the perfect. I am so excited I found this article because it explains what happens to you every June when it's your birthday.
Not as bad recently, I don't feel. It's been
not last year.
A
little. You did have it a little last year. Yes, you did.
Yeah. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. So Vice.com, there's an article about why you always feel like garbage on your birthday, and astrology has an answer, right? You have all these people coming to celebrate, whatever, and you feel like there's this heaviness you can't explain. You're not really depressed and you're not ungrateful. You feel off, and you're feeling off on a day that's supposed to make you feel great. They're calling it the birthday blues. And according to a recent survey by Nebula Spiritual Guidance Space, 83% of people have been there. You're not broken. You're human. They said birthdays have a lot. They're a lot to carry. They usually show up, these birthday blues show up like weeks earlier as a dip in energy or motivation. And it's hard to blame it on anything specific. You're tired, you're distracted. Things that are usually manageable feel like way too much. People just like, I'm burnt out, or I'm anxious about getting older and whatever. But astrology is saying that, the final 4 to 5 weeks before your birthday correspond to the 12th house of the birth chart, a period associated with rest, solitude, and reflection. This slowdown before your birthday isn't a glitch. It's the natural exhale of a year that's finishing what it started. So they are saying it's a good time for meditation, checking in with yourself, thinking about what really matters to you, tie up those loose ends, clear your head, get energy for the year ahead. But they're saying, so a birthday marks your solar return, the one day a year when the sun completes its full orbit and lands back in the exact degree it occupied the moment you were born. In astrological terms, it's a personal new year, and it lands with that gravity, whether you acknowledge it or not. So they have different ways you can kind of get through those birthday blues. They're saying, deliberately do less. So don't have, put all this pressure on yourself to have everything like figured out and done. think about one thing you've done over the year that you're proud of. Not a list. They're saying just find one thing, right? And it could even be small, but just find one thing. See the people who knew you before. So old friends can give you perspective. Do something with no meaning attached to it. So watch a movie you've been putting off, take a walk, clear out something physical, give yourself time to come back, and stop trying to talk yourself out of it, because they linger long when you're busy arguing with them. Let the blues exist and they'll move on.
Well, my feeling
I don't know.
is,
I just thought this was so interesting because you've gone through this.
Yeah, for quite a few years.
Yeah, we
and
thought,
I don't know
I'm
why.
like, God, he's
right
just
around
getting
my
depressed
birthday,
'cause
right
it's
around my
birthday.
birthday in June. And the thing is, though, I don't feel as though it's been as bad since I started doing this full time. And I don't think it's been bad in particular the last couple of years. Now, we've had a lot going on the last couple of years, which maybe kind of distracted from it. But I guess my point is I feel it's been better. But yeah, it's just this. And I think there's a few things at play. You think about, okay, my gosh, I'm this age, and yeah, I'm grateful that I made it this far and I made it through another year. Will I make it to the next one? You really start thinking, at least I do, you start thinking about your mortality and all of that. It's not necessarily, I got to be honest, right now I feel better than I did 2 or 3 years ago physically. Famous last words I drop over.
Don't say.
But
we talked about putting the stuff out into the universe. You broke the printer, and now you're going to break yourself. Stop it.
Yeah, not intentionally. Well, I guess I wouldn't want to break myself, and I also wouldn't want to break a toilet, because the implications could be dire, as they were in Australia. Well, apparently there was a woman, a tourist. And she went to answer nature's call in what they're calling a long drop toilet, which I think is basically an outdoor toilet. And if anybody's had the pleasure of using an outdoor toilet, they're pretty gross. And it's basically like a toilet on top of a hole in the ground, right? So I'm assuming she sat down, and the toilet just went through the ground, and she fell right into this huge pit of what is in a toilet. Sewage. Very
crappy.
sad situation. Yeah, it's a crappy situation. But seriously, she was with her partner and 2 children from Canberra. Could you imagine?
Oh.
She was in there for 3 hours.
Oh,
in
my
the hole.
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And God, no, I don't know if I'd make it.
They said they found a tow rope, and they could go in the hole far enough for the woman to stand on it. And they used her partner's collar to lift her out.
Oh, my God.
It said here it took 45 minutes, but they said something about 3 hours before. So I'm not sure.
Well, I think it took her 45 minutes to actually probably bring her up, but she was probably stuck down there for 3 hours before they could.
She was physically unhurt except for a few cuts. But I got to say, a lot of times I'm one who's like, stuff happens to you. You got to kind of just slough it off and go on. I'm not talking about being in a war or being a victim of something. I'm talking like, relatively minor things. Sometimes you got to toughen up. But this could be really a cause of PTSD. Okay. Could you imagine being in that for that period of time?
I could not. I don't know if I'd handle it.
And a lot of people were making jokes and stuff, but it's not really funny because it could happen to anyone. I've been in parks before. You wouldn't necessarily have to. You could be standing there, and if the floor falls in, you're going in with everything else. That's just sad. But to clarify, again, I'm not observing that people have PTSD, like victims of various things, and people have been in wars and things. But sometimes I think we're a little too sensitive about like minor things. But to me, this is not a minor thing. I think this could cause long-term PSD.
Well, to be stuck underground with piles of poopy,
and everything else.
Think about health-wise too, bacteria, and get into any open sores. And she's very lucky she's okay. I hope they continue to check her out.
Yeah,
make sure give her some antibiotics.
Yeah, because that's like short term. She just had a few cuts, but you don't know what got into her system.
Well, you don't know, and that. Oh gosh.
Yep.
And that's the last thing you're expecting, right? You're sitting on a toilet. I don't think you're expecting to fall through the ground. Yikes. I have fears like all of that. Well, you know my fears. I don't.
Well, it's understandable. It's understandable.
Well, yes, it's funny, but not.
On that crappy note, we end the paranormal report.
Oh my God, help me, please. I am going to confiscate the pipe. I'm getting rid of the pipe.
Well, you may not want to wear the pipe, but you should wear some of our merch at jimharold.com/merch, jimharold.com/merch. Isn't that right, Dar?
Yes, and we still have book 6 on sale. So if you're interested, Jim will sign it. We've had some really nice autographs going out. Some fun, some funny, some very sweet. So consider it. It's a great gift. I know the holidays for gifting is coming. We've got graduations. We've got Mother's Day, Father's Day. All that fun stuff's coming. In our household, May is chock full of fun.
Lots of stuff, and it just seems to be multiplying.
Yes, it does.
The big events in May. But yeah, May is probably our, other than December, busiest month of the year. And October, of course. October, December, and May are 3 biggest months.
Yeah, well, we have Natalie's birthday, our anniversary, there's Mother's Day, and then there's always either a graduation or some ceremony, or even Rambo's birthday's in May. So
big month.
Gonna have he's indeed upside down sleeping, but he'll enjoy his pup cup that I make at home.
Good. Very good. Well, we thank you for tuning into the Paranormal Report. We will talk to you next time. We hope for you to have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time. And remember, if you're in the Plus Club, listen to those Plus Club shows with that special URL so you can get on the Spooky Studio Net on the evening of May 5th. And there you have it. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great week, everybody.
Stay safe
and spooky.
Oh, Lord. Oh, boy.